Japan has 85 one Michelin key hotels, 17 of which are in Kyoto with storied names like Ritz-Carlton, Four Seasons, and Park Hyatt. Going up a level to 2 Michelin key options, there are 17 in all of Japan with 2 in Kyoto. This includes the juggernaut of Kyoto, which can run upwards of $4,000 per night. Heading to the summit of 3 Michelin key properties, there's only 6 finalists. 3 are in Tokyo, 1 in Mie, 1 in Hakonemachi, and only 1 in Kyoto, Hotel de Mitsui. Today we're looking at what it's like to stay at a 3 Michelin key hotel. We'll look at one of the rooms, property amenities and features, the 1 Michelin star restaurant, and some strategic ways to book this. Big favorite before we dive in is to give this a thumbs up to help with the algorithm. If you want to upgrade your travel, then consider subscribing. Welcome to the Nijo room. So this hotel was pretty awesome. All of it really vibes together really well in terms of the tones, colors, and how it's all designed. We'll talk about the designer in a second, but we do have a castle view. So it's about 2 streets away, but pretty close, and there's not that many rooms that have this view. So if you do get upgraded to it like we did, then you're in luck. There are 2 sets of windows here, 2 layers, and I did kind of run to the first set when I initially filmed because it's pretty clean. I don't know how to open it. Over here is going to be a desk to either work, relax, or do anything else. It is a giant table and like wooden slab, which is pretty nice, and it's really well designed. It just looks beautiful and ties into the whole theme of the room. We did end up getting a welcome mascot, so this is Mitsui, who is a baby white tiger, and also a bunch of snacks. Throughout the room, you're going to notice a lot of wood tones, and the other part of it is this whole lantern theme. So pretty much all the lights kind of have this vibe to it, and it looks awesome. Within it too, you also have kind of a framework to it. It just ties it all together. To me at least, I really appreciate that they have stuff on the wall that they actually make an effort rather than just having a blank canvas like a lot of other hotels do. Over here is the bed. Pretty straightforward for the most part, but you do have a lot of accenting in the back, so additional light to make it look pretty. And also the wall back here isn't a blank canvas. It is kind of a fabric material, and there is kind of etching on top of it as well, so another layer to make it look good. To me at least, it kind of reminds me of little gold pieces. Lantern style light again over here, and there are a bunch of switches whether you want to change the lights, close blinds, or do a bunch of other things. A ton of micro adjustments depending on what you're looking for. One thing I really like is that they have fancy pens. So this is probably one of the nicest pens I've seen in a long time. It's actually heavy and it feels pretty good. Most other hotels just cheap out on this. For the bed area too, it is separated a bit. So if you look at the flooring, on one side you have hardwood floor. So this is kind of like the regular side, and over here it's nice carpet. It's just a nice contrast, and even though it's just one big room that has kind of everything to it, you feel that subdivision and it feels good. It's those little design touches that I think normal people don't think of that make the room feel more comfortable. Over on this side, pretty much the same thing, but there is a Bose speaker as well. Heading over here, we do have the bathroom area. Same idea of the lights, kind of a lantern style, gigantic mirror, and you have 2 sinks. One nice thing too is that they offer cups to kind of rinse your teeth. A lot of other places have kind of the white ones that just don't look that nice. This one just, it feels more intentioned. The soap is going to be private label from Hotel de Mitsui. So from the hotel, but it is made in Japan. So I'm guessing it's local. At the bottom, you have a bunch of towels, laundry bag, and also hair dryer. Over here is a gigantic tray of pretty much everything you need. It was a lot less messy initially, but I kind of went through it one time already. One funny note is that they did offer us a children's toothbrush. The main reason probably being that we got a little Mitsui and they thought we had a little one. Yeah, not gonna go through everything in here, but pretty much everything you would need, from combs, razors, toothbrush, toothpaste. And then even if they don't have it, they probably have it somewhere else in the carts. Hotels are generally pretty good about this, so you're gonna be fine. Even their hairbrush is pretty nice. For example, this is what it looks like. It feels pretty nice too. A lot of other ones would just have the cheap, thin, white ones, and that's it. This is like an advanced model of it. Over here is the shower area. So you do have a pretty big rainfall one, pretty tall one. Lots of room here. So 6 foot, 7 foot, you're pretty much good outside of like 7.5. Or like 7.2. All the shampoos and conditioners are also private label, Hotel de Mitsui. If you are looking for more of a normal shower, there also is one over here, and it is adjustable. Whether you're short or tall, good to go. Over here is the tub. One nice touch is that for the pillows, for people who want to use the tub, it actually is kind of something else. It's like a leather pleather type of thing first, and then they have a cover on top of it. Some other hotels just put a towel there instead, and I kind of get the idea, but it doesn't really work if you are someone that ends up using it, because once that towel gets wet, it gets completely soaked, and then it doesn't really have that cushioning anymore for your head. Bath salts are over here. One thing I don't really like though is going to be the placement of how it's set up, I guess. So this part is raised, which makes sense if you want to step in and out of it. And I like how high it is because it does go up to my shoulder. Main thing though is that it's not that comfortable for my legs because it's weirdly elevated. It does still feel pretty nice though, and I probably will still use it later tonight. On that note, one other benefit of the bathroom is you can actually watch the TV from in here. Right over here, you have a clear line to the TV. You might not be able to hear everything perfectly, but it still technically works. And I don't know, that's a good option. You can actually turn the TV, and I think that's why they designed it in that way. So you might be thinking it's flat, doesn't really work that way. There is a hinge system that pretty much perfectly has it so that anyone in the tub can enjoy this from a certain angle at least. If you're taking a bath but you don't really want your player 2 bothering you, or you just want a bit more privacy, you also can close this as well. So whether you want to watch TV or have privacy, you have that option. Over here is going to be the toilet seat, and it's a pretty nice one. It is a bidet system, but it's pretty much the most advanced model based off the ones I've used. It has a lot of features. Number one, it goes up by itself. It also wets it so it minimizes stuff sticking on the side. There also are additional buttons. So for example, I can do this. So I can raise the seat and lower the seat if you are doing certain things. There's also a dryer as well, which I think other ones also have, but still nice to me. Based off the ones I've used, pretty advanced. Over here is the closet area. One big note is that these are super comfortable. I feel like we've stayed at a lot of fancy hotels and robes are kind of hit and miss. This one's super plushy, and I think I would actually want to use it. Mandy, feel it.
Oh, it's nice and soft.
Pretty much like a teddy bear. Over here is the main entrance area. Let's take a look at what I mean by the rooms. So down here is the castle, where over here, only these rooms face it. All the other ones don't. These ones have an internal view, and these ones have the opposite end. You pretty much have 9 rooms on this floor, which looks like it has almost 30 or 40 that actually even face the castle. Spinning back around, we have an area for your luggage, a bunch of other storage drawers as well if you are staying for a bit longer. Also has a pretty nice safe. It's a hydraulic one and pretty big. Yeah, mostly storage for longer term people. Last section over here is going to be the coffee area and snack area. And there are a lot of little things here. Cups if you want to make coffee or tea. The teapot here is pretty legit. It's like a super heavy duty one. I think if I swung this at someone, they would not make it. It's really heavy. That would hurt. Bunch of tea bags. I think this is alive. Moss up here. Next, you have kind of a work desk that you can pull if you need additional room. Not work, but if you're making coffee and teas. Bunch of cups. Some pretty nice ones too. Nespresso, there are a few options. One really cool thing is that they actually even have the name of stuff on the bottom of it. It tells you the intensity and also the flavor profile of it. For teas, they have TWG, and 2 of my favorite ones. Vanilla bourbon tea is really good, and I often don't find it at hotels, even nice ones. And English breakfast tea is pretty standard, but also really nice because TWG is expensive and tasty. Paid minibar down here, and then finally kettle and ice bucket over here. Overall, pretty well designed room. One reason is because this hotel is designed by Andre Fu, who is pretty much a goated designer. He was the designer for Kyoto, Four Seasons Tokyo, Shangri-La Tokyo, St. Regis Hong Kong, Kerry Hotel Hong Kong, Waldorf Astoria Bangkok, and also the Berkeley in London. And this is among a lot of other hotels, but those are the famous ones that we've either been to or we like. Reminder that this is part of Marriott Bonvoy, and you can book it with either your points or with certificates plus points. We'll talk more about this towards the end, but if you are someone that wants to learn more about cards and support the channel, we do have links on the website, asksebby.com, and also down below in the description box. As always, make sure the links are competitive and that the cards make sense for you, but otherwise it is a huge way to support the channel, so thank you in advance. The property does have a bunch of amenities, ranging from a gym to a private onsen. Private onsen is not free though, it does cost money, and we're probably gonna skip it for this day, but maybe for a future one. If you have Marriott Bonvoy status, for 60 minutes, it's going to be 21,500 yen, but normally if you don't have status, it's 24,500 yen. Alternatively, there is a public area if you don't need a private onsen. That one's going to be free, so that's awesome. If you have Bonvoy Platinum, Titanium, or Ambassador status, you get room upgrades and late checkout at 4 p.m. one. The welcome gift is either going to be 1,000 bonus points or breakfast at the restaurant. We chose breakfast because that makes more sense and that's more value. There are a bunch of restaurants depending on what you're looking for. We ended up choosing a Michelin starred one, and let's actually head to it now. Okay, change of plans. We're gonna actually eat this first before going to dinner. Main reason is because sometimes they do refill it or add other items for afterwards. But if you don't eat the first batch, then they assume you either don't want it or you don't like sugar, and they just don't bother refilling it. First one is this. It's like jelly with a hard coating. I'm pretty sure it is sugar on the outside, but pretty good, not too sweet. I was a bit worried that it'd be just a sugar bomb, that you're eating a sugar cube, but not the case. Next one. I don't know the official name, but pretty much mochi wrapped mochi. That's really good. Last one is a macaroon. Super fresh. It's falling apart in a good way. So it's not like left overnight and hard and crusty like some other ones we've had. Yeah, really good. No complaints. Also made a coffee. Coffee's good. Last batch is for Mitsui, and we'll leave him to that.
Oh boy.
On the main floor is Toki. This is a 1 Michelin starred restaurant that's pushing the boundaries of Japanese and French fusion. Toki is led by chef Tetsuya Asano. He started his journey in Europe and was the first Japanese executive sous chef at the Ritz Paris. He's also representing Japan in the Bocuse d'Or International Culinary Competition in 2027, which is apparently the Olympics for chefs. 24 countries send 1 chef and 1 commis assistant. Back to Toki, the entire philosophy is to blend French techniques with Japanese ingredients. A big focus is on Kyoto's reputation as a water capital. Unsurprisingly, a ton of flavorful stocks are a key focus. Main takeaway, I think it's a good meal, but only if you like fusion and innovative food. If you're more about getting the best iteration of sushi or tempura or a traditional item, then this is definitely not for you. If you like interesting takes on dishes, cool textures, unique flavors, and surprising presentation, then it's a great pick.
So the first one was crunchy, savory, a lot of different flavors. Works really well. That's delicious. Next one is a kagawa, which is asparagus. Pretty much like an asparagus cracker with your fingers. Super unique. Okay, last snack is the venison, and it pretty much looks like a deer. Super cute. Pretty much venison pate. Pretty good. Not taking me at all. Really good flavors. Next up is the dotori, which is salmon roe, and a bunch of other items. This is probably one of the most beautiful dishes I've seen. I almost feel bad about breaking it apart. The salmon is marinated in soy sauce for 5 days, and on top there is a salmon cookie. At the bottom there's sea bream, and yeah, a lot going on here. Let's give it a taste. Probably my favorite of the bunch. You have like a creaminess, you have the chewiness from the salmon, you have the crunch from the salmon cookie. I wish it was like a lot bigger, but it's pretty good. I think if you like salmon, if you like seafood, you're gonna like this one. This is one of those dishes I'd want to have more often, but I don't think I could even make it myself. Pretty much artistry. Okay, next up is sake elise with foie gras. This is one of the more unique dishes I think I've ever seen. I've had foie gras before, but the presentation, everything going on is pretty interesting. Let's dive in. That's interesting. So the sake elise offers kind of a bitterness to it, kind of a bitter sweetness. It's super unique. I don't think I've had sake elise before. It also is served on a giant Minecraft block, or some will say a Minecraft block. Sake is pretty good. Also, in case you're wondering, this is next up is congrio with zucchini tomato consomme. There also are some green tomatoes beneath it, and yeah, pretty intricate looking dish as well. So this is the eel. Let's give it a taste. It's hearty of the eel, but also light, kind of dances in your mouth. Pretty good. I feel like I'm running out of words to describe some of the items here. There's a crunch to it, there's kind of smoothness. It's one of those ones where it feels like a ballet or a dance in your mouth. It might not be for everyone, but I'm a fan. Next up, we have eggplant of duck. The base sauce is onion. At the bottom, though, is also mushrooms. Kind of like a ratatouille in a way, given the layers going on here. Yeah, looks pretty good. Everything's cut super thinly. Pretty good. You have the umami from the broth. You kind of have some like tanginess, a little bit of citrus. I'm not sure where that's coming from. The duck, you have hardiness and chewiness. This one's pretty good. Next up, we have bread with sake leaves, butter, and also normal butter as well. So 2 different types of butter. I'm gonna do normal first because the sake leaves is supposed to be a bit stronger. This one's good, but I think we do have some pretty good bread in San Francisco. So it's fine. It's not bad, but doesn't exceed like the other ones did. Let's try the sake leaves butter. Definitely different and stronger. I like it, but I think it is an acquired taste.
Yeah, it's an acquired taste.
I don't think Manny likes it, but yeah, it's unique. I'm a fan. All right, so this is going to be one of the 2 big mains. This is the grilled sea bream with mushrooms, and there's a lot going on here. So the base sauce is mushroom, there's also some oil there, and it looks amazing. The green sauce over here is zucchini paste. Let's actually try that first. It's a zucchini puree. It's really good. I don't even know where to start, but let's try the fish first.
It's a good seasoning, right?
The fish is crispy on the outside, soft on the inside. It just ties so well with the sauce. I don't know how they did that.
I think they cut the skin so that way it flares out and it's nice and flaky before frying it.
The final main of the mains is venison. You have 2 pieces, and then you kind of have a beet sauce and beets and figs as a 3rd piece. Venison is cooked to rare and looks awesome. That's really good and unique and tasty. All the flavors work really well together. I feel like I've been saying this all night. There's going to be 2 items for dessert. The first one is an ancient grain rice pudding. Give it a scoop. A bit thicker than normal, but pretty good. I feel like I haven't had ancient grains in a rice pudding before, but it works. I feel like I could have a giant container full of this. It's that good. Last item for dessert is the melon granite, pretty much melon sherbet. That's good. I was trying to find another word for it that's really good, but that's all I have for you. It's light and refreshing, but it's also a pudding. It's sweet. So it's tying everything together, multiple flavors. It just works.
Breakfast is served at Forni, the hotel's Italian restaurant. The main draw is going to be the buffet. They have a ton of fresh fruit, one of the largest spreads I've seen in a bit. Tons of smoothies as well, and same thing here, you have a lot of options. There's fresh baked pastries, including croissants. These are prepared at the hotel every morning. Also a ton of hot and cold items, whether you're looking for Western staples like bacon, sausage, or hash browns. Here are some other items as well in case you're curious. If you prefer Japanese options, unsurprisingly, there's a lot to pick from. This includes rice with egg, miso soup, and cooked fish, and more. If you have Bonvoy Platinum status or above, breakfast is complimentary. If you don't have elite status, then it's 5,500 yen for the continental breakfast buffet. The buffet plus 1 main is 6,100 yen, so 600 yen more. Everything on the first plate was pretty good, other than maybe the croissants. Those are a little mid, passable. I'm gonna finish them, but didn't really blow me away. I was surprised by the bacon and hash browns because I feel like I've had that a lot and pretty good here. Cantaloupes though are goated, super sweet. I would definitely eat a lot more of them, and I actually ended up getting a lot more. I ended up getting the Western breakfast while Manny chose the Japanese one. Both do have access to the buffet, so pretty solid there. I ended up getting an Eggs Benedict, and Manny got a whole pretty much giant box of food. Let's try a bit of Manny salmon. Pretty good still. Oh. Coffee's still pretty good. More omega-3s. The breakfast buffet does close at 10:30, so we did have a bit more time. So for my second plate, I ended up getting more of the hash browns because it was that good. It reminds me of a McDonald's one in the best way, so like a mini version of that. It's delicious. It brings me back to my childhood. Let's try some of the smoked salmon. Pretty good smoked salmon. It didn't really blow me away though, so I think if you are trying to figure out where you should focus your attention, might not be the best bet. More cantaloupe. So the perfect cantaloupe, perfectly ripe, juicy, kind of bursts in your mouth in the least weird way. I think this is an eggplant thing I got. Just looked interesting. It's fine. I wouldn't get it again. One that I'm looking forward to is the matcha cheesecake. I'm gonna get Mandy to.
That's pretty good. Let me get some more.
It's pretty much a matcha souffle. It's like soft and airy. That's delicious. I don't think I've had that. This is the matcha roll. That one's okay. Juice. Smoothies / juices are pretty good. For breakfast, there's 4 different options. There's the vegan, Japanese, and Western, and the 4th option is to just have the buffet. If you don't want an entree though, then you can just opt for the buffet, so that's kind of the 4th option by itself, but all of them do come with the buffet as well. So pretty much whether you want to pay a bit more for an entree. I'm gonna try my Eggs Benedict. Wow, the sauce is so unique. It's really good. I think you would like Benedict. This is a nice interpretation and well worth trying. It also helps that Japanese eggs tend to be pretty good, and yeah, it all works well. I'm gonna let Manny take a taste.
It's like yuzu hollandaise.
Pretty unique, and I think it adds a nice citrus note to it. Thumbs up.
Would you pay out of pocket for breakfast?
I think it depends on your budget and what you're looking to do. The buffet breakfast is pretty good, but I would say only if you're optimizing towards fruit and some American options like bacon and hash browns and some of the matcha ones. But if you were doing croissants or something, or like if that's your like main, I would say it might be a skip. Other items are fine, but didn't really blow me away. But the fruit is amazing. So I think a lot of it depends on your budget and what you're looking to do. If you're not a big breakfast eater, then probably skip it and spend your money elsewhere. But if you are, then it's not bad at all.
If you're looking for things to do outside of the hotel, there's a bunch of attractions nearby. Nijo Castle is right at the doorsteps of the property. This is one of the 17 historic monuments of ancient Kyoto, classified by UNESCO as a World Heritage Site. Kyoto Shibori Museum is about 5 minutes from the hotel. McCain Shrine is also about a 5-minute walk away. We ended up doing chores and went to downtown Kyoto. I needed new glasses and I love buying them in Japan because of the price and also how fast it is. I'm a huge fan of gins and also own days. I ended up picking up 3 pairs of glasses. If you don't have a prescription, they'll do a test for free, which is awesome. It's also super fast, so glasses normally take 60 minutes to get. Price-wise, you're looking at about $50 to start. I have astigmatism and was looking for some tint options, so mine were about $100, but still way cheaper than the US. In terms of booking, if you're paying out of pocket, it's generally about $1,500 per night, but it really depends on season and can float from $1,000 to $2,000. Summer in Kyoto is a scorcher and heat waves in Japan are not uncommon. The best times to visit Kyoto are when the temperature is milder, typically either spring between March to May or fall between September to November. Retail prices tend to be a bit more aggressive to account for this, but you can find cheaper pockets in the 150k yen range, which is about 1,000 USD. Instead, I'd recommend using points or certificates. You can string together some short stays in the 90 to 100k range, but definitely tougher for longer stays. If you run hot like we do, I'd recommend December. Big benefit too is you have less crowds and it's cheaper. If you're using points, it's easy to string together a bunch of nights in the 90k range. So for 92k points per night, you could use an 85k certificate from the Amex Bonvoy Brilliant or Chase Ritz-Carlton and top off with 7k Bonvoy. Great use of FNCs and points in my book, and why I'm happy to stack these cards because it makes sense for us. Overall, I would happily recommend Hotel de Mitsui. I think the hard product, location, and amenities are S tier. Also great staff and soft product, definitely worthy of its acclaim. A lot of these are subtle though, and to me less ideal if you're speed running through tourist attractions. If you're not really looking to spend time at the hotel or use its amenities, then I would pick a more standard option. To me at least, Hotel de Mitsui is a special hotel worth at least a detour. If you enjoy architecture, design, and the small touches, it might be worth a journey. Again, if you want to learn about cards, we have links on the website, asksebby.com, and also down below in the description box. Make sure the links are competitive, but otherwise, it's a huge way to support the channel, so thank you in advance. If you made it to this point, leave a water droplet emoji in the comments down below, and I'll try to heart it and respond. My question for you is, what are your thoughts on this hotel? Let me know and everyone else know down below. Big favor, thumbs up, consider subscribing, but otherwise, hope you liked it. See you next time.